Hi everybody, it's Saché.
And I'm Brinnelle.
Welcome to yours truly, the Momcast.
Yay!
Drum roll! So we have another mommy on set with us today in the Momcast.
Yes, we have the wonderful, the amazing, the supporter of all moms, Nadiège. She is a mom of two, a wife, and a counseling psychologist. Moms. We have some work to do today. Yeah? We're talking a lot today.
Yep.
She is renowned for her empathetic, empowering approach to mental health. She's the founder of Thriving Life Therapy, which has helped me so much in my motherhood journey, guys. Yeah. A practice dedicated to supporting women, particularly mothers, in navigating life's challenges, including anxiety, depression, burnout, and identity shifts.
Yeah.
Is there anything I left out there? Is there anything you want to mention?
No, I'm just excited to get conversations.
So happy to have you.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for allowing us to tap into your expertise, right? So not just another mommy on set, but an expert in your field with your practice focused on moms. Like, what a wonderful thing to merge your experience as a mommy, your expertise, and then, give us a little blessing, because God knows we need it. God knows, right?
For sure.
So today, what are we talking about, Brinnelle?
We are talking about imposter syndrome in motherhood. We are talking about mom guilt. Mom guilt.
Me?
Yeah.
Mom guilt. Mom guilt.
All moms raise your hand.
Yeah. My experience has been, I started getting mom guilt while I was pregnant, before I officially became mommy.
Yeah.
Like with Zaria, I lost a lot of weight during pregnancy. You're seeing all these round mummies in clinic, putting on weight, looking so nice.
That with me.
And I just kept losing weight up until when Zaria was born. I was 20 pounds less.
What?
Yeah, I started off at 196 pounds. And then by the time I was ready to give birth, I was 167 pounds.
Yeah. And you felt bad about it.
Bad? Horrible. Is my body doing what it's supposed to do? Is this baby okay?
Is baby healthy?
And then every time we go by the doctor's like, yeah, that's normal. And meanwhile, I'm seeing other mummies in clinic and they are round and rosy and the cheeks and they're glowing. And I'm just there like, you sure my baby's okay?
Yeah. So how is motherhood for you with mom of two? Can you tell us a little about it?
It's a whole new experience, I think, being a mom of two compared to a mom of one. It's so different from my becoming a mother for the first time.
I can imagine.
I mean, a lot of the things that you experience are similar, like with the mom guilt, but they show up in different ways.
They do.
I mean, I love being a mom.
Yeah.
I do, and I love the ages of my children right now. I mean,
what are their ages? Sorry.
6. My daughter's 6.
Yeah.
And my son is 11 months.
Oh
today.
wow! Yes. Wow. Just like London.
Yeah.
Because London, to my daughter, she's just 1, so I know that that 11 month. It's a kind of a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because like they're figuring out the world.
Yes.
But they're not going too far. They still need you a little bit. It is a sweet spot. And then you probably have the help of your older child.
Oh, yeah. She's such a great big sister.
Yeah.
So,
Want to help mommy.
Yeah, described it really well.
So today we have some interesting questions that we believe will help us and the mommies who tune in.
Yeah, okay.
So the first thing we want to find out, right? What are some signs that a new mom might be struggling with more than just baby blues? And how can we tell when it's time to reach out for support? And I know the baby blues. I remember just like crying unexplained. Like I couldn't explain why I was crying.
Yeah.
And
let me share a little bit about my experience.
No problem.
Just to help with answering that question.
Yeah.
When I had my second child, and people think, as a psychologist, you see all these signs and you know everything that's going on with you. But when you're in the thick of it, you're just in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't see for yourself.
right.
It's only when I had my son and I realized how different the experience was. I realized I went through a really tough time with my daughter after I had my daughter.
Yeah.
I remember crying several nights, crying myself to sleep, just feeling like this weight, even though I was so happy. There's a wide range of mix of emotions, So it's crazy that only looking back, I'm like, wait, I went through a really difficult time. In the moment, all I was doing is trying to keep my daughter alive, right? And take care of her as best as I could. So I think acknowledging, seeing the signs is really important in the moment. And I think, in fact, that's where a little bit of imposter syndrome comes in too, because I was thinking, there's no time for signs. I need to do what I need to do and just be the best mother, be a perfect mother, and obviously learning that there's no such thing. But some of the signs would be just emotional distress for too long of a period of time.
Right.
You know, the baby blues is like a couple months, maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it could be a couple weeks. It could be a couple months.
Okay.
But it also depends on the severity. So if you are struggling, if your daily life is really affected by really heavy emotions and you're struggling to just function on a daily basis, then something's clearly wrong.
Okay.
You know, I mean, there's exhaustion and there's just being tired, and that's just motherhood, right?
Yeah.
But if you are really distressed, if you're feeling like a lack of interest in getting up and doing things,
right?
If you're having any thoughts of self-harm, thoughts of harming your child, I mean, it sounds so scary to think about it, but a lot of women experience that.
Yeah.
And those are signs that you really need to get help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get so deep so quickly.
Also, as she's talking, I'm like trying to do a checklist in my mind. Did I ever?
Yeah.
No.
You
So
know,
like
replaying.
for me with Zaria, I noticed I was almost on autopilot. I was just doing everything, and that I didn't even recognize that was a problem until I reached into I went to bathe one night and could not stop crying in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And the rest like, you okay? Like, you're in there a while. And that's when it hit me that, okay, you have a problem. Because it wasn't just, dealing with Zaria. I felt like I was pulling away from Leroy as well. Because I'm on autopilot. So I'm not really paying attention. I'm just getting everything done. And that's when I called Nadiège. I was like, I think I need help. Because I feel like I'm not the best wife right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not the best wife right
told
now.
Me this.
Honestly, it's only as she started speaking, it brought me back to that
you.
moment. I'm not gonna cry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I don't feel like I'm the best wife. Like, I'm doing everything possible for baby in this moment. And I feel like he's just on the sideline. And he's supporting me. He's doing what he needs to do. But at the same time, we haven't gone out in so long. And, you know. And she was like, she literally told me, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? What you feel is not fact. Feelings is not fact. And that resonated with me so much that even till today, I still, like, if I feel a certain way, I'm like, okay, where's the evidence? What? Is the child fed? Yes. Is it? Is Leroy happy?
Actually say to you that you're feeling as a wife.
Exactly.
No. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
basically, we're just making up things.
Yes.
Making up things.
No, it's because moms, we so we just want to be the best mothers possibly could be, and then you want to be the best partner you could be. But the reality is, when we go through these life changes and shifts, we can't be our best selves in every sphere of life all the time. It's impossible. So it always has to be a give and take, and of course a newborn needs us. Children need us regardless of their age. So we have to kind of
there's something about the shower that brings out the cries, right? Yeah. Because I think my first full on, and it wasn't too long after I brought her home. It was probably within that first week. I think I was just so tired.
Exhausted.
I just could not, and you know what? In my mind, I was thinking, "Wow, this is the rest of my life." What did I do? What did I do? This is crazy.
Exhausted and overwhelmed.
And your body is going through so many changes. It's the breastfeeding. It's the
hormones.
Did I burp the baby properly so she could sleep? Then the hormones. It's just everything. And then you want to nourish your body. You're seeing all the changes, stretch marks. It's a mountain of things that we're taking on.
And can I say, I think because billions of women have done this and do this regularly, people tend to believe, well, it's not a big a deal because millions.
Everybody does. And unfortunately, I know women have been told that. Things like, but other mummies do it.
That doesn't negate how challenging and hard motherhood could be when at times.
Yeah. And I
Even
think
with
it's
all the
important for
support.
us too, because I mean, I have found myself in situations where like I may be watching somebody else and how they are handling motherhood, and I have to, question like, what's going on with you, girl? And so I think it's important for us too to know that no journey is the same.
Exactly.
And not because people are doing it means that they're not having their moments.
Exactly.
They're not breaking down.
Exactly.
Just in feet.
We know the truth.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important for us to not compare ourselves to other moms' journeys, and especially not on social media or otherwise.
Yeah.
Listen, you don't post. Well, now it's happening, but really and truly, you don't really post the bad moments. You post all the good stuff.
And in fact, that's why we decided to do this, because we felt like, especially for me, because I felt like I was in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And I was just tired of seeing the whole glamorous, like, oh, my baby. I'm like, yeah, I love her. I love her big toenail. I love her. But sometimes I'm just like, I need a break.
Yeah.
And I needed to know who else needs a break.
Oh gosh. And you're allowed.
Can we talk?
You're allowed.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we are looking out for, just to recap, we're looking out for like extended periods of helplessness, hopelessness kind of feeling, distress.
Yeah, lack of interest, loss of motivation. Yeah, just feeling lost, especially isolation. If you find yourself pulling away from your family and your friends, and those are signs that you need a little bit more support.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that note, I also want to talk about this saying that you're losing yourself in motherhood, right? We hear that. So what is actually happening to our sense of identity during that postpartum period?
Right, that's a great question. Well, definitely there's a drastic shift that happens, right? It's a major transformation that I think people don't, a lot of moms, you're not really aware. You hear what motherhood is like, but you don't really know until you're actually in it.
In the thick of it.
Yeah, and then especially when you have a newborn, it's all about the baby, like you said, all about the baby. You have to remind yourself, did I bathe today? Like just like basic things. You're not sure if you're not taking care of yourself with basic things.
Yeah.
And even if you are, it takes a lot more effort
to
do that. So we start to move more and more towards the back of our minds. And that's where the losing self comes in, because after a while, when you talk about the autopilot, after a while, you're just running on autopilot, taking care of the kids and the family, and you have gone further and further into the background, into the shadows. And then you start to wonder, who am I anymore? Wait, what about, when was the last time I did something I really enjoyed outside of being a mother? Who am I now? And to be honest, our whole identity, we're just basically recreating an identity at this point. Incorporating our motherhood now into who we were before.
And what's funny, as you said that, it brought back to me, because there's this kind of mourning period that you go through. Because when you realize that I'm not that same person, you start to remember, I was so carefree. Abby and I could just pick up and go to the movies and do this, and now we can't do that. There's a lot of preparation behind us going on.
Night, I was holding my daughter and I was like, did you know that mommy and daddy used to lie until 11 o'clock? Like, why are we in bed and it's after 7?
Yeah, the little things, they change. For sure.
And I want to say too, because not everybody who's watching the Momcast might be a mom, right? So we have some aunties, we have people who are hoping to become a mom one day. We have some of our friends who are just single friends. And I think it's important for us to reiterate that in some of these things that we're expressing, it doesn't change the fact that it's still a beautiful, chaotic journey, right? And yes, there's a losing yourself period, but it literally is for a period. As I said, like with my daughter only being 1, I feel like I'm now kind of coming out of it and remembering, like, schedule a pedicure or take some time to catch up with a friend. Head over to your other mommy friend's house. So I have a friend and her baby is much smaller, but at least now we're there together. We could take a little drink together. Most times it's tea or juice or something, but it's fine, And you learn to live life differently in a new, enjoyable way.
I'm glad that you're pointing that out. This is not like, you have a child and that's it for you, right? No,
I'm only a mom. I'm only a mom.
But it really takes intentional efforts to kind of shape that new identity into something that you love, because it's up to us to kind of bring the two together.
Yeah.
This is the kind of mom I want to be, but this is also who I am as a person. How do I blend the two?
Yeah.
With intentional steps like self-care, like you talked about.
Yeah. One of our older episodes where we spoke about who am I since becoming a mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even that's our first episode.
Yes.
Even in the comments, person said things like, it's very hard. Like, I don't know how to answer that question.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess it's because it's this ongoing journey.
Exactly.
Yes.
You're figuring it out as you go.
Yeah. Brinnelle, what's that line?
Oh gosh.
Mom,
Wife,
wife,
navigating life. That's who we are right now.
That's what we came up with. Like, she came up with it because it's literally
You are
that.
navigating,
You know?
Yeah.
All right, good. So we know that you're losing yourself. It's for a period. And maybe when the child becomes a teenager, you feel like, I'm just going to lose myself again because you're crazy. But,
Yeah.
So it might be periods and bouts, but at least we know that it's not permanent.
Yeah.
And we don't have to stay there in that lost time.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us. So many moms feel guilt or shame for not loving every moment of the journey, right? So how do we help ourselves, get permission to feel the full range of the postpartum emotions and also to vocalize it?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you read the first part?
Sure.
Again?
So many of us moms, we feel guilt or shame for not loving every moment.
That's what.
Yes.
Who said that we're supposed to love every moment of motherhood?
Maybe, I don't know, Instagram.
Instagram.
Give me their names. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, a lot of the times we have just these unrealistic beliefs and
Expectations.
right?
Yes.
Driving all of those emotions that you talk about that in that postpartum or just in general in motherhood. And that is one of those really unrealistic expectations that you enjoy every bit of. Do you enjoy every bit of your life as a teenager, as a young adult?
Yeah.
No, right?
Yeah.
No matter what role you're in, everything is not always, rainbows
Better
and
roses,
sunshine, right? Yeah. So I think acknowledging that reality, letting go of some of those expectations and beliefs that making us feel we need to be perfect is the first thing that we need to do. And then when you do that, then you leave some room for self-compassion.
Yeah.
Then you can be like, okay, you know what? I'm just human. I'm just doing the best that I can.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to feel how I feel. You'll again goosebumps. Because we're just too hard on ourselves with these ridiculous expectations. And one of the things that has helped me is this thought, a challenge in those expectations and having this thought that there's no one way to be a good mother. There's no one way. So anytime I questioning myself, like, are you doing a good enough job? Is this how it should be? I also have to come back with the same question. Okay, is there really one way to do this? Is there only one way I should be treating with this situation? No, I am unique. My child is unique.
Yeah.
Children now, so I think we have to acknowledge those things and give ourselves some grace, some self-compassion. Feel the feelings, because like you talked about the loss of identity, that's not going to be
forever.
Permanent. Just like the feelings are not going to be forever.
And as you said, like the feelings are not all factual, so it might just be in that moment where you're overstimulated, overwhelmed, hungry, sleeping, whatever it is.
Yes, play a role for sure.
Yeah, I get that, because I get hungry, my child gets hungry, and then the whole house vexed.
Yeah,
you know.
I know. Just like with me, honestly, recently, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm arguing a lot. I feel like I'm constantly correcting my daughter. And I'm exhausted. This is me having this thought, sitting and thinking about it the other day. I'm like, what's really going on with me? Because clearly it's something going on with me and I need a moment. I need maybe, what am I doing for fun? I started, have those thoughts and I'm like, okay, I'm stressed, so I'm frustrated, and this is why. What can I do? Just going through that thought pattern is helpful.
So that's the self-regulation. That's what it is. Reflecting and then regulating your own emotions.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, so the other part is, how do we then give ourselves permission to feel the full range of the postpartum emotions?
Yeah. I mean, some of those feelings will surprise you, to be honest. That postpartum, especially when you feel like, and everybody's telling you this is supposed to just be fun and happy and it's supposed to be perfect, and then you feel like, okay, I should not be feeling certain things.
Yes.
And I mean, you have a whole child now, right? You're allowed to feel, whether it's frustrated, even feel like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's okay. A lot of moms have felt that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was about, I want to say like about 4 months postpartum. And every time I felt myself kind of rise, because it felt like, it feels like a wave.
Yes. Yeah.
So every time I felt myself kind of rise out of it, then I'll have this day where it dips. And I sat in the storage room and my daughter was sleeping. I sat on the floor of the storage room and I was just crying. I was crying. And then my friend who was there, she saw me. And then she said, "You okay?" And I said, "I feel like I want to run across the highway." And I know I know to her it would have sounded like, should I call somebody?
Right.
But I didn't actually mean it. But that's what I felt. Like it was so big. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I remember the things that triggered me that day. It was the dog. It was something with the child. It was just like a series of things. And it felt insanely big.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way I could carry this today. And I needed to release. And then when I was done, and then the day was over, it was a new day.
It was,
and then it was like, okay,
new day.
I don't want to run across the road. I just need to run across the road that time.
Right. And that's because you gave room for those emotions. And you kind of expressed it. And I think we need those safe spaces. We need to be those safe spaces for other moms too. So that, they could express what might seem like crazy. And we know it's just a moment of overwhelm or stress. And if it's not, then we could help them get help.
Yeah. So what do you think? So like in an instance, that's I think a good example.
Yeah.
On the receiving end of seeing like a mom have a breakdown, somebody on the outside, they need to know, okay, is this a red flag, amber light, green light? Like, what do I do?
What do we do?
Can you give any insights on how somebody on the outside should treat with a mom in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, first thing would be having a non-judgmental approach.
Yes.
Right? Just being gentle, non-judgmental. Everybody's experience and journey is different. And I think that is really good advice for everyone, moms and non-moms, right? Everybody else too, because even fathers is a whole different experience for them from moms, So just being non-judgmental, but also being open to listening. I think that's the most important thing. Just being an active listener, giving them space to vent, not judge them for what they have to say.
I think that's what we need majority of the time. We can figure it out, but in the moment, we just need somebody to listen to us.
Yeah.
I call my sister all the time. I'm like, listen, today is just, and she calls me and she said today is just not the day. And we go on about it. And then, like you said, it's another day.
Yeah. And I thought about this recently, and not just with motherhood, but when I was not yet a wife, I would look at like all the wedding stories, and you'd go on TikTok, and well, at the time it wasn't TikTok. TikTok did not exist, but I would go on whatever Pinterest and you're saving ideas, and you just you glamorize it, and you can't wait for your day, and you can't wait for your moment.
Yeah.
And then it comes and it passes and it's beautiful, and then life goes on, and then you go through the thick of it, and then it's the same thing. So now you can't wait, your baby on the way, you're planning the room, everything. And similarly, it comes, it's a beautiful moment, and thick of it.
Yeah.
And I want to, or if you can also help us to probably articulate to other moms, not other moms, but other persons who are not yet in this season with us where we may be, what it might be like looking on and seeing us have our vulnerable moments.
Yeah. Don't be scared.
How they can observe and still have that excitement and still even like be a good support.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I think you would agree, like when the baby, you go through all that. I'm not going to get into it, but you go through, and the baby arrives and you hear that cry, and it's almost like, oh my God. I remember to my husband, like, oh my God. So for that moment, what you went through before is really worth it.
Worth it, yeah.
And it's really the same with just raising a child, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Regardless of how challenging some days could be. At the end of the day, you have an amazing blessing that you could help shape and nurture, and it's it's worth it. It really is. So I wouldn't encourage, don't give up on that dream for, the moms, the women who want to be mothers.
Yeah.
Just approach with grace and patience and self-compassion, understanding that it may not go exactly according to your expectations or the way you dreamed it would go.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because that's life too, right?
Yes. The curveballs will come. Yeah. And honestly, I hope that like with us having this Momcast, those who are not yet moms who may tune in would take away that from us, that, maybe on the internet or parts of the internet, wherever you're watching content, you feel like it's this easy, beautiful, like, walk in the park. And while we may be sharing some of our challenges, that you are encouraged to, stay with us. Because I know you love Zanaya and Zaria to pieces.
Come on, those are my
Even
girls.
when you're not sleeping. Like you see them smile, or you hear the laugh, or they might say something, and you're just like, I'll do this all over again.
Yep.
And you know what, too, that even though motherhood itself has challenges, just being a mother in itself could be really healing. It could be really empowering and just encouraging when you just like you're talking about your children. Our children, you just embrace those moments with them, and that makes a huge difference too.
And the little hugs and the little kisses and the little you're like, okay, it's okay.
Like, I love to hear my children laugh. Both baby
it's
and
the best
Zaria.
laugh.
Oh my
it's
gosh,
the
best. It melts me.
It's the best laugh ever.
It makes me think that, okay, all the sleepless nights, all the vomit, the puke, the poop diaper blowout, everything. It's worth it.
And our moms would have done it. And the older generation, I'm almost certain and saying that they did not talk this much.
No.
Right?
Yeah. They just had to do it.
They just did it.
Yeah.
So they did it. Kudos. Great job. Unfortunately, we have spaces and opportunities to like share
everything
and support and not feel like we struggling alone, or we not feeling these ways by ourselves.
And can I add that the strength that you display in motherhood is probably something that you didn't even know you had, right?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So just be excited for that too.
Because people would compliment, right? They would say things like, oh my gosh, you look so great, you have a glow, you have all these different things. Like, I cried this morning. What do you think?
Like, what glow?
What are you talking about? Like,
fact that I'm walking around. Okay. But then we have a Momcast now.
Right. And we still have to go back to our babies, right? But as you said, then it's that strength to carry it with grace.
Yes.
And even if you can't carry it with grace, that's okay too.
And it's okay to be doing both. You cry and you struggle, and then you thrive and you have like a Momcast. It's okay.
Okay, great. So I am done with my questions.
I have one question.
Sure.
So was there ever a day, like as a psychologist, you are not at your best, but somehow you have to show up for another mom in your career life? And how did you work through that?
I would say so. And I think it's helpful at times, to be honest, to move away from your own situation or your own challenges and focus on somebody else. Because honestly, helping others helps ourselves too. We just get good feelings when we help others.
That's true.
And I have also been so encouraged by my clients, to be honest. Sometimes I learn things from my clients, and when I support them, and then when I hear their experiences and their stories, and I walk it through with them, I'm like, okay, I'm taking notes for myself too, right? So, that's how the support goes. I'm helping, but I'm also being helped at the same time.
That's such a beautiful thing, and it must be so amazing to like have a career where you could walk away with that, like you're getting poured into in such a deep, meaningful way. It's not just
as
like,
much as you pour into others.
You get to walk away with that. That's a real blessing.
It is. It really is. It really is. And I'm always encouraged. Not just by realizing, okay, everybody struggles, but seeing the strength, helping women to remember how strong they actually are, how resilient they actually are. That just brings me joy. I feel so happy being able to do that.
You're awesome. You're awesome. So Brinnelle, she normally has something exciting.
I have a game. Well, it's not really a game this time. It's more of an activity.
Okay.
So it's called The Last Time I.
Okay.
So there are two aspects. We're going to talk about the last time I cried was, and you give a note and what that whole situation was. And then the last time I felt like a super mom was.
Ooh.
You want to go first?
Well,
I can go. I can probably
okay.
go. So the last time I cried, and then the last time I felt like a super mom.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm always crying, but the last time I cried, so my daughter is in play school, and we had like 2 days where she did not go to play school. And also she's very new in the play school, so she's still, figuring out if she likes it there or whatever. And so we had 2 days where she didn't go, and then she went on a Friday. And like, she's very attached to me. She's a breastfed baby. She's a real mommy girl. So when I dropped her off, her face, she just looked like, what are you doing to me? Oh, no. And why am I here? And I would never forget that look. I called you that morning, right? And I was just like, Brinnelle, the way she looked at me, I could have just picked her up and go. Like, it's a wrap. We're not doing this, And it broke, and I had to leave very quickly because if I had stayed there, then I would have been a mess too. And so it's like, you go in the car, you drive off, you wipe your tears, and you're like, okay, she'll be okay. I'll be okay.
Yes, exactly.
And we could do it. I mean, the first drop off was probably very similar. Same crime, but it's the confidence that you will do it and she can do it.
Yeah, she's fine, she's safe, she's okay.
And you have to literally say that to yourself. So I'm driving, I'm telling myself, Saché, she'll be all right. She'll be all right. And the good thing is that I had somebody I could have called. Now you have other friends you could call, but fortunately both of our daughters are in the same place, school. So then I could call Brinnelle and be like, here, what happened today? Can you give me advice on how to get through this, that was a moment. That was just last week. And what was it? Right, the last.
Wait, let's do all the cried first.
All the cried, no problem.
And then we'll go to the supermom
one.
So when was the last time did you cry? Oh, you want me to go first?
Well, I guess I'll go because the last time that I cried, I think would be a slightly different type of tears. I think, right? So it was more. I was finally taking a moment, right, just to pray and to think about what I want for my kids. And that space just brought me to tears because I was like, I want so much for them. There's only so much I could do. And I do what I can, but everything else I just leave it to God, and then that was my cry moment. That was my last.
I could see that. I could see that making me want to cry.
You don't want to think too much about all that's out there. I'm just kind of hoping for the best for kids.
So the last time I cried was this morning. So Zaria is going to be starting primary school, in September. And I got a message from the preschool, preparing for graduation. And I was like, oh my God.
Crazy.
Already?
She just got here.
This is what I'm talking, and I'm feeling the tears coming in because I'm like, gosh. And it has, they have to wear a white dress, something.
All the instructions,
Ooh. And I'm like, this is coming. Like, she's already in, like, we have already selected a primary school and stuff, but actually getting that message.
It's like confirmation.
Yes.
The reality just hits home.
Oh my gosh. I have a big girl.
No, primary school is a big deal.
Yes.
I don't think I'm ready for that.
I don't know if you're ever ready. You just kind of go and, do the best that you can.
Jeez.
That's all right.
I'm still feeling it. Because it was this morning I got a message and I'm like, oh.
And it's just exciting though because it's a mix of emotions for sure. But also you've been preparing her.
That's what I thought that same thing, that she's going to be amazing because she has you as her mommy. Oh gosh. Right?
Oh gosh,
she's going to be amazing.
Don't make me cry.
She's going to be amazing.
She is. She's the best, honestly. She's full of personality. She's going to do so well. But at the same time, I'm like, Where did my baby
go?
Exactly. Yeah.
Where did my baby go?
Yeah.
Jeez, you were just born. It was just COVID, and I was just pushing you out. What do you mean? Primary school graduation.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's all right. That's all right. Feel it, and then we let it go.
Yep. All right. So the last time I felt like a super mom.
I felt like a super mom just this week past. So this is right. This actually all happened around the same time. So remember I said my daughter missed 2 days of play school. So one of those days was supposed to be a clinic day. And granted that didn't go the way it was supposed to. I had to do all of it alone with her. And there's some things I don't like doing without my husband because I'm just like, you make my life so much easier. And I had to like stop off in Super Farm and so that's getting her out of the car seat, then into Super Farm, then come back in the car seat, the whole moving around. And when we got to the clinic and we were settled, so I had to get her ready, get both of us ready, get us in the car, then make the stops before, then get to the clinic, settled and so forth. I messaged my husband and I said, I did it. And he said, you see? And I'm sure it was fine. And at that point, I wanted to be like, that's not the point.
Yeah. The point is
I did it.
Yeah.
And there are things like, grocery stops. So just certain stops I just don't like to do alone with her because I'm anticipating the whole car seat fiasco.
Yeah.
And keeping her settled and then back on the drive, and if there'll be traffic or will I forget something in the car. And that day I just felt so good about myself. And I thought, look, Saché, look, you're doing it like by yourself. You have her. She's okay. She didn't cry. You remember to pick up everything. The car seat was buckled. Everything was just great. I felt so good about myself.
Yeah.
I know it's simple, but to me it was big. It was a big deal. And we walked around in Super Farm and we had a trolley and we were picking up stuff and I'm telling her, do you want this? Do you want that? It was sweet.
Yeah. I think those moments are really powerful for just the whole identity shaping thing. Like you're just doing a great job.
Yeah.
And you could see it for yourself.
Yeah. And I didn't need help. That's the thing. It's that part where me feeling like I need help to, probably pull the trolley and hold her and have my handbag. And, I did all of it.
Yeah.
And put her in the trolley and it felt great.
Wonderful. Right. The last time I felt like a super mom, mine were all basic.
That's okay.
That's okay. That is quite fine.
I feel like, okay. So for me, I think it would probably be a day of getting all the things done.
Yes.
Getting to the grocery, having a meal prepared, actually getting to spend time with kids, just have fun, which just doesn't happen, couldn't always happen. Some little flirting here and there with hubby. Just like a complete day. Yeah. And then I feel like I'm doing a good job. I feel like, okay, I have things handled in a day like that, which is too recently. Yeah, I think that would be the last time, I think.
I get that.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good. It is. It's simple. Yeah.
It's funny because it's really the simple things that make you feel like a super mom. So my experience is actually similar to yours. So yesterday, hubby had a workshop to go to, and it was just me and the kids. We had mommy and me gymnastics with Zari in the morning, dropped off him to the workshop, and then I'm driving back home.
With the
it's the first time I'm doing it by myself.
Really?
Yes. The other times it was like a short drive. So between picking them up from school and then going to meet him, it's not as long as all the way back home. And then I'm home with them. I mean, yes, I have my mom and my dad nearby, but they have their own things happening. So they had their own things happening. So I'm just there with the two of them for the entire day. And it worked out, and then I had to pick back myself up and go back and pick him up with the two kids. Put both of them in the car seats.
Yeah, girl. That
with the rain falling. So I'm maneuvering umbrella. I'm like, okay. I'm like, Zaria, I'm gonna put you in first. I'm holding tonight. I'm like, we're putting you in the car, but Zaria knows how to buckle herself in. So I'm like, okay, you get in the car, you buckle yourself in, we'll figure it out. And go balancing umbrella here, Zanaya, put her in the car.
Yeah.
And then walk around, sit in the car, You buckled in? Yes, mommy.
Yeah.
Great. Let's go.
It's like this big project management job.
Feels like that sometimes.
You know, you're building systems.
Throw baby bag in the trunk.
Yeah.
Like, drive down the road. And I was like, while driving down the road, I was like, oh my God, like you did it.
You did it.
Like,
you did it.
Yeah.
they're
I
good.
think that's wonderful. I feel like we build up these images in our minds. It's such a huge, big challenge and task when really, you know, I used to do the same thing, you know, and what helped me a lot was seeing my sister. So she has 3 kids now.
Right.
This is my younger sister, by the way. Yeah. I've learned so much from her. Seeing her just live life with these kids. She's up, she's going, she's carrying them, she's doing a million things. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And in my mind, just going, taking the babies on one outing.
It's just so much to plan for.
Yes. But then I started to say, okay, you know what? It's not that difficult. It's
Just
not
do
that,
it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
It's
not psyching yourself up for this big problem.
Exactly.
It's seeing it as like, it's not as big of a challenge as we make it out to be in our minds.
You know,
You just have to get to it, and we can do it.
and you get it done.
And you do it, and then you do it again and again and again.
And then it seems like nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's so lovely. Honestly, round of applause for us and all of the mummies.
Yes, we do it.
We do it.
We do it.
Yes.
So Nadiège, this is the end of the Momcast episode. We have to say a special thank you again for coming, for being here with us, for sharing some great advice, and for pouring into us. And I know for sure, like y'all can't say that this is not going to help you.
Yes.
So for pouring into our community, our growing community, please, her Instagram is here. Go follow, ask a question, engage with her content. It's great. You're gonna learn so much. And if you have any questions, just hit her up in the DMs, like find out the pricing, find out the location, find out how you need to get your help. That's what we're about. And I know for sure, Nadiège, you're gonna be open to embracing more moms. And helping as many.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. And I also feel very poured into.
Yay!
Thank you.
Love that for us. Love that for us.
Yeah, so as always, feel free to like, subscribe,
comment.
Share. Yes, share. When was the last time you felt like a supermom? When was the last time you cried? Share that.
Yeah, we'd love to know.
Yes.
And we will catch you in the next
one.
episode.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, guys.